Welcome to Cripple Baldy, a podcast for the rest of us.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. We would like to welcome you to sit down, have a drink, smoke a smoke, toke a toke. Talking about the marijuanas, in case you didn't get that.
That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how.
All right, so welcome to the newest episode of Cripple and Baldy, where we are interviewing polycystic, I can't say that word,
Coiffure.
That's such an elegant word.
I'm so unelegant, so I thought I'd fake it.
But it's a great word. I can't say it.
Yeah, I was wondering how to say that. So thank you for informing us. I feel like I've
you're
learned
very
something
welcome.
new.
Yeah, so Jessie, that runs the Instagram account, has been dealing with hair loss, and she's someone that I've been following on Instagram for a little while, and we don't have a whole lot of like hair loss representation here on Cripple and Baldy.
Yeah.
So we wanted to interview someone that, you know, could speak to it. So,
And I certainly can. Unfortunately.
So, Jessie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 34, and I live in New England, United States. I have a husband and an almost 2-year-old son and a dog, so I'm very busy. I am a property manager. We manage commercial office buildings, so it's real exciting. And it makes me want to pull out whatever hair I have left. So
That bad?
Yeah, it's always something new.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I don't know how far back you want me to start. I never had like luxurious, thick, great hair. It was always very fine, but I had enough of it to cover my scalp. And then when I turned 30, I went off birth control because we were going to try to get pregnant. And after that, a couple months later, my hair started falling out in clumps. I mean, not just gradual thinning, like I was pulling chunks of hair out of my head in the shower, and it was devastating. I had no idea what was causing it. I did furious Google searches. I went to the dermatologist who told me that I should get more sleep, and that my scalp looked fine.
That's what they told you?
I'm like, yeah, thanks. Cool. What does that have to do with the fact that my hair is falling out of my head? Or, people would say, oh, it's not that bad. And I'm like, really? You can see my scalp. This is horrible. So I finally, I would stay up all night Googling, and I finally came across this website run by this woman named Lauren. And her site is, I'm going to give it a plug because everything I learned from her. It's called Corner of Hope and Maine, MANE.com. And she was talking about and blogging about her journey with female hair loss and wearing what she was calling toppers, which is what I wear. They're sort of like a crown extension or a half wig. So I saw her wearing them and realized that her scalp looked a lot like mine when she didn't have the hair on her head. And it was like, ding, light bulb, like, all right, maybe I got to get me one of these toppers. And then, I can figure out the cause of the hair loss later. But right now I just need to feel like I'm comfortable going in public again.
Yeah.
So I did. So I bought a topper. It was awesome. During that whole process, I wasn't getting pregnant, so I went to my doctor and was ultimately diagnosed with PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. So my hair loss is a symptom of my PCOS, and it's caused by higher levels of androgens and a hormonal imbalance in my body.
That's interesting. So how did they figure that out? Did they just do blood work, or?
They did blood work to test for hormone levels. They did an ultrasound to look at my ovaries, and I had the classic. Usually when you have PCOS, you don't ovulate regularly or at all. as is in my case. So your ovaries will look like, I'm making gestures, which nobody will be able to see, but
We're enjoying them.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
it looks like lots of little follicles. Like they call them cysts, but they're not really cysts. It's a misnomer. It's follicles, which are basically underdeveloped eggs that your ovaries never ended up ovulating. So my ovaries looked like that. My blood work showed my hormone levels were off. And the third sort of criteria for diagnosing PCOS is that I wasn't getting a period, or I was getting them very irregularly, like every 50 days, every 70 days, every 20 days, And so with those three criteria, that generally is what they use to diagnose you with PCOS.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And so obviously if you're not ovulating, you're not getting pregnant. Yeah. So it was then when we knew we had to get some help. So we ended up seeing a fertility specialist and got pregnant with a little science.
Hell yeah, for science.
Hell yeah,
so
science.
Did the fertility treatments change anything with your hair loss?
I don't think so. By that point, I wasn't really paying so much attention to my scalp because I had found I was wearing toppers. I'd been wearing hair for about 6 months at that point, and I was comfortable with it. So I honestly stopped paying attention to what my hair was doing. After that big general giant clump hair falling out period, it did slow down. I've never been one of those to count the hairs. Like some people will literally sit there and count the hairs that fall out of their head. And, wow. I get it. I'm an obsessive person. I get it. But I never did it. Probably because I hate math and counting is terrible. So I really have no idea exactly how much it slowed or kept going or any of that. But the whole fertility treatment thing was very stressful. We actually, the first pregnancy we had, we lost at 4 months.
I'm sorry.
Which was traumatic.
I'm sure.
And I don't really remember if my hair took a hit on that because I sort of, I don't know, maybe I probably blocked it out. But a few months later, we got pregnant with my son. Who will be 2 in November, and I can't even believe it. Oh my God. He's amazing. He's a handful, but he's amazing. So actually when I was pregnant, for pretty much everyone, when you're pregnant, your hormone levels change and you produce more estrogen. And so your hair, everybody goes through a shedding and growing process with their hair. So when you're pregnant, the shedding processes slow down or stop. So any hairs that would have fallen out during that time don't. So, and your hair just grows more than it normally would. I don't know if it grows faster, but the hairs that would normally fall out don't. So when I was pregnant, my hair looked pretty good. The ends of it were pretty straggly still just because of the length, but all up on top, again, I'm gesturing. All up on top was pretty decent. So I could actually pull it up in like a bun and, sprinkle some fibers on just to cover some thin areas, and it didn't look too bad. And that, people, I just reading different hair loss things for years now, and the question always comes up like, what am I going to do? Am I going to wear my wig or my topper when I give birth? Please don't do that. Oh my God. There are so many other things going on that the nurses don't care if you're bald. They really don't.
Yeah.
I didn't even bring it to the hospital. It wasn't even on my list of things to worry about. And, yeah, so don't worry about giving birth with your hair, kids. You have a lot of other things to worry about.
I don't know. I'm pretty vain. I'd probably at least wear like a hat. That's just me though. And I mean, like maybe in the moment I'll change my mind, but that's like what I'm planning on.
Well, I ended up with a C-section, so I had a hairnet on by the end of it anyway. So
okay.
I don't really remember a lot. It was a shit show. But and then after, of course, usually what happens after you have a baby, a few months later, your hair cycle catches back up to itself, and any hair that you would have lost during that period that you haven't, it all falls out in clumps. And so postpartum hair loss is real. It's horrible. I knew it was going to happen, and I'd already been wearing toppers for a couple of years, so I wasn't like shocked or upset by it. But it's still, I was a little shocked, actually. I didn't think I'd ever see the clumps of hair coming out again, but I did.
Wait, so did your hair, are you saying like when you had gotten pregnant, you had gotten more hair after like losing hair and then like it had come out again?
Okay, so I guess I have to rewind a little bit. I have what's called androgenic alopecia. Sometimes people call it androgenetic alopecia. And, you know, it has the word androgen in it. So it is a hair loss. It's female pattern hair loss. And it's caused by an excess of androgens in your body. That can be genetic. It usually is genetic, I think. My dad is bald, so thanks, Dad.
Same, fam, same.
But I got mad good air guitar skills from him, so we have that. So, shit, what was your question? I have mommy brain. I'm dumb now. I'll be dumb forever.
So you got more hair. I was asking if you got more hair when you were pregnant.
So with androgenic alopecia, it's not like other forms of alopecia where you get bald spots. It's a general thinning, like a diffuse thinning of hair all over your head. Usually for a lot of women, your hairline sort of stays intact. It's just thinner. You know, if you guys have looked at my Instagram, and yes, I post scalp pictures because I just don't give a fuck anymore. You know, you can see that it's just sort of all over very, very thin. And so what happens is your hair goes through its natural growing cycles, but the periods in between growth cycles are longer. And when your hair does grow back in on that follicle, it grows back thinner and finer. And eventually, it depends on the person, your hair follicles will die. And once a hair follicle is dead, that's it. You can't, there's no hope for it. So I haven't been to a dermatologist since that one told me to get more sleep.
I don't blame you.
Okay, we'll have a baby now, so the sleeping is not happening. So, you know, I don't know what my scalp looks like under a microscope or anything, but so when you're pregnant, it's not like I got more hair. It's just hairs that I would have lost didn't fall out, and then new hairs were growing on top of that. So, yes, I got more hair, but not really, because then it fell out again later. It's just...
It stopped falling out for a period of time.
Exactly. And then, so whatever new hairs are growing in, they're joining the ones that haven't fallen out. So it seems like you have more hair.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hair loss is weird. It's very complicated. And I feel like even a lot of doctors don't really know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to my fertility doctor and he said, okay, I see you've been diagnosed with PCOS. What are your symptoms? I said, well, number one, I'm bald. And I took my topper off in his office. And he was like, he goes, really? He goes, it's more common for women with PCOS to have excess facial hair growth instead of hair loss. And I'm like, well, you've never seen another PCOS woman with hair loss? And he said no. And he didn't really dismiss the symptom, but he sort of was like, well, that's weird. I've never heard of it.
What?
I'm like, okay.
I mean, all you do is like Google it, and that's like on the list.
Listen, buddy, I'm like a full-on physician now with everything I've been through. So listen to me.
Yeah.
Please do not take medical advice from polycystic coiffure. Legal.
You have to be your own advocate, though, because, like, I mean, doctors don't really care. I mean, they do their job, but then it's, like, beyond that, like, you really have to, because there's a lot of shit. Anyways.
You absolutely do. I mean, I have friends who have gone, I think I have a lot of these PCOS symptoms. And again, it manifests so differently in everybody. Some women do have excess facial hair. I gain weight really easily, and it is so hard for me to lose weight. Some women have it in their lean. So it's sort of a weird syndrome because you can explain away the symptoms to be something else. And it's really once you put all the pieces together that you can get this diagnosis. I'm really lucky that my OBGYN is knowledgeable about PCOS and that he picked up on it right away. And that he listens to me when I said, look, I have these concerns. These are the things that are happening to me. I've gained 30 pounds. My skin is a mess. My hair is falling out. I'm not getting pregnant. And he was like, all right, let's look into this. But you really do have to be your own best advocate for this stuff. It's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So
That's so interesting that it happened later in life for you, because my personal experience is like I was like 12 and my hair started like thinning. And it wasn't until I was in college and I went to a dermatologist and they took like a chunk out of my scalp and they looked at under like a microscope and they're like, well, you got like female pattern baldness, but you can take this blood pressure medicine. But if you don't want to take that, there's not really anything you can do. So like it wasn't until like this summer that I started wearing like hair and feeling comfortable with it. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you because when Baldy, like she just said, like she started wearing the toppers like very, very recently, and she had been dealing with the hair loss for a while. What made you want to go for the topper immediately? Because
I didn't go for the topper immediately. When it first started falling out, I should say this. It started even when I was still on birth control. It started being a little thinner and harder to style. Again, I never had thick hair. They were always very fine, but I had enough of it. And then I noticed that, you know, my hair was getting a little bit see-through on the ends. So I thought, well, maybe it's from coloring it. Maybe it's from straightening it. So I got all the dead ends cut off and I got a shorter haircut and I bought a teasing comb and I started using volumizing products and took a break from coloring it, took a break from straightening it and all that sort of thing. And instead of getting better, it did get worse. And that was when you started to be able to see my scalp. So again, thank you, Google. I found hair fibers, which are just like, you know, I call it like my seasoning. They're little brown or whatever color hair you have, fibers that you sprinkle on, and it makes the hair look thicker. So it hides your scalp a little bit. So I was doing hair fibers. Then when the inks of my hair got too thin to really do anything with, I ended up buying some of those, they look like a scrunchie, but they have hair on them. like a bun.
Yeah.
And so I would put a shit ton of mousse in my hair to try to thicken it up, put the fibers on, pull my hair back, put the scrunchy bun on, and wear it like that for a while. Then I got to the point where I went off birth control as I was still doing that, and that's when it really started falling out in clumps, and I went, holy shit, like, fuck. I'm going to need to call out the big guns. And so once I discovered what a topper was, I was like, that's genius, because, you know, I thought, well, can I get extensions? But no, you can't get extensions if you don't have any hair on the top of your head because you're going to see them. Yeah. So I really needed something that would cover the top of my head. And I'm like, look at this. This is magical. So I ordered one and tried it out. And I was like, this is amazing. It wasn't too much hair. It was cut in the same sort of short little bob style I had. And I felt good in it. So I was really nervous to wear it to work the first time because I didn't know what people were going to say. And I decided to get ahead of it. So I showed up at work with my new hair and everyone said, oh, your hair looks different. Did you color it? And I said, no, my hair's falling out and this is fake hair. And now I'm just going to wear fake hair from now on.
Did you say that?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
That's so great.
All while dying inside, just so you know. I'm not like this crazy confident person who doesn't care what people think of her. I was sweating and anxious and felt like I was going to barf the first day I wore it to work. But
you are bold, though. That's awesome.
That's so great that you did that, because when I wore a topper to work for the first time, I just did not say anything to anybody. My boss came up to me and he was like, so, did you like get your hair done, or are you just wearing it down for
that's
a
amazing
change?
that a man noticed.
Well, I went from like wearing fibers and pulling my hair back to just having like my hair like shoulder length and like down. So I mean, it was kind of noticeable.
Well, that's another thing is I tell people who, are looking how to transition into wearing hair full time. I'm like, start with, pulling it back in a ponytail, pull it half up, anything like that. Or just go for a totally different color than you wear normally. And then when people notice something different, you say, I got it colored. And that's, I don't feel the need to hide it. I don't care, but I'm not saying everybody needs to be open about it. It's your personal preference. I just am the type of person where I say, you know what, I'm going to get ahead of it. I'm going to direct the narrative on this. And I'm going to say, listen, my hair's falling out, but it's fine, guys, because look at this. Now I got good hair. And so, and honestly, people are just really curious about it. They think it's cool. There are some other women in my office who have thin hair, and they're like, where do you get this? I want to know more about it. This is amazing. This is incredible. I have another woman in my office. She's in her 60s. She wears wigs every day, and she has ever since I've known her. And she wears a different one every day. And I remember talking to her about it, and she was basically like, I'm 60. What the hell do I care now?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're hardly in the grave at 60, but good for you, Anne. So it was, I think that wearing hair has really shown me that I'm capable of things, like, not to get all mushy gushy, but it's a hard situation. And I really think that it is what you make of it. I'm not saying that I accepted it overnight. There were plenty of tears over this, and anxiety, and hating myself, and therapy. Well, I mean, I go to therapy anyway, but, it doesn't come overnight. I've been wearing hair for, what year is it? 4 years now. So it takes a while, but I like it now. I can't, I just, I love it. I love it. It's like, I love makeup. I love hair. And now I have fantastic mermaid hair, and I could do it the night before and clip it in, and it's so easy and it's so great, and I don't even worry about it anymore.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
I noticed that when I would go out in public, people were nicer to me when I wore like a topper or hair. Did you have the same experience, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I never really thought about it. I have a bad case of resting bitch face, so I think that people.
Same, fam. Same.
So maybe people don't. I don't know. Maybe they don't talk to me anyway. But I never really thought about it. I don't know.
That's
If people are nicer to me with hair, but I do. I strut now. I like go to Target and I'm waving my hair behind me, and I catch myself in a full-length mirror, and I'm like, I am that girl with good hair. Now, I am that girl with good hair. And you know what? Screw if it doesn't come out of my own head. I bought it. It's mine.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I own it. So I think I definitely know it brings me more confidence. So maybe if people do talk to me more, it's because I seem like a more confident person. I don't know. I don't know. I try to avoid talking to too many people.
Yeah, that
suck.
makes sense.
Why do you guys think it's like, okay, so in the media, we basically, not in the media, I don't know what the fuck, I'm sorry. Socially.
In the world,
thank you.
People.
It's like more acceptable for men to be balding. Like, it's something that we accept, like it's like, okay, it happens to a lot of men. So like bald heads for men is really common. And for women, there's not like a spotlight really on how women they bald or their hair thins or whatever. So I guess, what was my fucking question?
Why? Because of the patriarchy.
Yes. Why do you think that is? Because like I watched one of your YouTube videos that you had posted, and in it you had said that or someone had said that 40% of women, their hair thins or they bald, and if it's that common, shouldn't we be discussing it? Wouldn't there be a lot more women with like shaved heads, like that they would just like choose that style?
So I think that, I screamed because of the patriarchy, and I do actually think that's part of it. For women in society, long, flowing, beautiful hair is a sign of femininity. And, women with short hair, I'm not trying to generalize or stereotype, but, you see a short hair woman and, is it a butch thing? Is it, unfeminine to have short hair? I had a boyfriend in college who, I wanted to cut my hair short and he was like, don't do it. You won't be pretty anymore. And I was like,
rude.
That guy, please.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and, Hollywood and everything, and you think any of those actresses on the red carpet, you think any of that's their own hair? Not a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so you see all these images, and it really is sort of a patriarchy thing that women are supposed to have long, flowing, beautiful mermaid hair. Does that mean that I'm playing into it because I purchased long, flowing? I don't know, maybe. But whatever, because I feel good about myself.
Well,
and
no,
that's
I'm just
how you
wondering.
kill the patriarchy.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, I don't know. I'm sorry.
She's wondering,
I'm
guys.
getting anxious. Like, I'm asking questions, and then I'm thinking too much, and then I'm like,
No, but I think you bring up a good point that if it's that common, why aren't we talking about it?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's sort of the same thing I came across with PCOS is that 1 in 10 women have it. That's a huge percentage of people. I'd never even heard of it until I got diagnosed with it.
Really?
Yeah, never. So, for up to 40% of women to have some form of thinning hair or hair loss, that's enormous. And so that's part of the reason why, I've been open about it. And I, show pictures of my scalp on the internet because I refuse to feel like it's something I should be ashamed of. I haven't done anything wrong. I didn't do anything to cause this other than have my particular DNA, I guess, which then it's, it's my dad's fault.
Yeah.
It's my dad's fault. But it's something that I think we need to talk about more.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of female issues, PCOS, hair loss, miscarriage, not to get too off tangent here, but there are a lot of women's issues that over the years we've been told to sweep under the rug. And I think that now with social media and people being out and open about things, it's opening the conversation into these things that we deal with, which I think is great.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah. We spoke on an earlier episode about how we wish that some of the, I don't know, just like social accounts that we follow now existed when we were younger. Just, me dealing with hair loss and Cripple, dealing with being disabled, like, they're so incredibly valuable, just like hearing about other people's experiences, like, because you don't necessarily know someone that has the same thing that you're going on, so they can't, give you advice or, really empathize with you. But like your account in particular, like Hair Loss Boss, June Penny, or Penny June, I don't fucking know her name.
June Penny, I think.
Yeah, I
she
think
was
it's
one
June
of the
Penny.
first ones that I found on YouTube when I was going through hair loss.
Yeah.
And I saw that, she would stick an extension under the top of her head and then use mascara. And I mean, she was like really, I think, one of the first ones who came out with, here are some tricks to do to hide your head.
Yeah, no, and that was great. And I had actually looked, so my hairdresser had told me, she was like, you should get a topper. And I was like, no, like, it shouldn't matter that I'm going bald, like, but I mean, just in like corporate America, I've just seen how much better I'm treated, and it's so annoying, but whatever. So I went to a place in town, and they were telling me that it was going to cost like $1,000 for a topper. And I was just like, man, I don't know if I can afford that. That's a lot of money, and I don't even know if I'm going to wear it. Like, and I don't have like one that I can test out, but because I had found the June's channel, and I found like where she got hers, I was like, that is way more affordable. I can do that. So like, yeah, I just wish I'd had all of this information, like, and known about all these different people when I was younger. So like maybe I wouldn't have spent so much of my life just having like a shitty self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, it makes you feel less alone to have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hate to sound like pat my own back, but that's why I'm doing what I'm doing because, you know, my hair started falling out. I was 30. I mean, I was a grown ass woman with a mortgage and a dog and, you know, that level of comfort in myself that you get as you age. And it knocked me down. I mean, I felt so alone. I didn't know anybody else who was going through this. At first I thought something was seriously wrong with me. I was like, I have lupus or something. Like something was going on. Why is my hair falling out? And so to just try to help others know that they're not alone, that there are a lot of us going through this, and we all have different tips and tricks and ways that we deal with it. Some women choose to shave their head, some women wear wigs, some wear toppers, some don't do anything, and they just accept it. And I think that it's really important to find each other. I think the internet and social media are the devil's work, but they're also amazing. No, it's true.
It is true. I agree.
You know, for every horrible thing about social media, there's something really good about it. And I think that finding this, you know, so-called hair loss community has been great. I've met a lot of women. There's some that I talk to every day. It's actually, and I've talked about this. So a woman that I met in a new mommy group after I had my son, she and I were following each other's personal Instagram accounts. And then I posted on my personal for Hair Loss Awareness Month or Alopecia Awareness Month. I don't know. They're two different months, but it's alopecia literally means hair loss. So I don't know. And we can get into that later about the hair loss Olympics because it's bullshit. But anyway, and so I posted on my personal Instagram and she started following my polycystic account and she messaged me and was like, girl, you got to come over to my house or something because she's like, first of all, I never knew, you know, that you wore hair. I never knew you dealt with any of this. And so she and I got together a couple of weeks ago. I brought over all my hair, like big old bag of hair. She just got her first topper. She went to work with it, said, yep, my hair's falling out, and now I'm wearing toppers. And I'm like floored by it. But it's so cool. I mean, my dog sitter, the girl who comes and stays with my dog when we go away, she has thinning hair, and she had found my polycystic account through Hair Loss Boss's account. Like she was scrolling and I don't know, she saw like a picture of my bathroom or something because she's been in my house. And she did text me. She's like, just so you know, I found you on the internet. Can I pick your brain about hair? And I was like, hell yeah, you can pick my brain about hair. I'm like, well, now I know you don't go through my bathroom drawers because if you did, you would have seen like a whole drawer full of hair and you would have known. So that's great. You don't snoop. But, you know, it's crazy just that two real people in my life that I never knew were going through this were able to reach out and I helped them find a solution. And that's cool because I don't want anyone to feel alone. That sucks.
Yeah, no, that's really great that you were able to help people that are like so close to your own life or like in your life. You know what I mean? No. You are. We're not worthy.
No, but it was cool. And for me too, you know, yeah, I'm all big and bad and wearing hair and everything, but there are still days where I take the hair off at the end of the day and go, you know, there's my scalp. And so for me to have that other source of local support, and know other people who are going through it. And like, what's better than a wine and hair party? Nothing.
Okay. You're going to have to explain this one to me because this sounds great.
Okay. What, a wine and hair party?
Yeah.
You drink wine and you play with hair.
Oh, well, I feel like that should have been obvious. Excuse me.
You know, and then you also eat snacks, obviously.
Oh. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Snacks.
It's great. If you guys are ever in this area, come look me up and we'll have a wine and hair party.
New England.
New England. It's great.
I thought I went to New England, but I guess Baltimore is not New England.
No.
So I was very upset.
No.
I had no idea. This is
Baltimore,
what happens when you make
I think that's Mid-Atlantic. I don't know. Anything.
I
I don't know. I grew up outside Boston.
Okay.
And now I live south of that. I try not to get too specific because
No, you're fine.
people are cuckoo. You never know. That's why, like,
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I don't post pictures of my baby's face or, his name or anything like that. I will post my dog, though, because he's cute. He also doesn't have a
smart,
social
though.
security number, so.
Man, just like everything they're doing with like AI and stuff and just being able to like find people's faces, like that is such a good thing that you're doing that because
It's
it freaks me out the more I think about it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just like, I have posted so many pictures of not only myself, but everyone else in my life. I can't like retroactively go back and like take that information. It already exists in the
I
world.
know, it's gone. Well, we have like Google photo albums where we upload pictures of the baby for my whole family to look at. So I'm like, well, now Google has this face. And so that's it.
There's like
we're
no
doomed.
escaping. I mean, there's cameras everywhere.
I
Okay?
know.
1984. That's what's happening right now. Big Brother, welcome. We are here. It is happening.
Do we just embrace it? What do we
terrifying.
do? Do we wear bags over our heads?
Yes.
That's why I wear different hair every day so that they can't find
Smart.
me.
There you go.
Smart.
See? Yeah. I wanted to ask you, on one of your videos, you showed how to style one of your hair pieces. And I personally am horrible at doing hair. And when I was watching you do it, because you did it on a separate, like you didn't do it on your head. You did it
Yes,
on like a
right.
mannequin head. And I thought to myself, that's great. Because like you have way more like leverage because your hands aren't back here. Like, how is that? Are you better at doing hair now that like you're doing it on a hairpiece?
A million times better. Oh my God. I'm like the number one perk of wearing hair, aside from the fact that it covers up your bald head, is that it is so easy to style hair when it's not on your head.
Yeah.
It's like game changer. No, I would always, I would flat iron my hair, but that was like about it. And your arms get tired from doing this. And again, I'm gesturing. It's so much easier. It's incredible. And now this hair actually, it isn't shit hair, so it will hold a style,
Yeah.
which is nice. But that is one of my favorite things. I can style my hair literally the night before. I take the tripod, park it in front of me on the couch while my husband and I watch TV, and I curl hair, and then it's just all ready for the morning. So for a lazy person, wearing hair is incredible.
Yeah.
Much, much easier.
Is your hair like, does it look better now than it did before when it was like your actual hair because of the fact that you can style it like easily?
Oh, yeah. My fake hair is so much better than my real hair ever was, ever. That's another reason why. And I think, so there's an account, she's pretty famous, Rosemary Fit. And she I think everyone knows her. She's gorgeous. But she posted something the other day about, I will not be a victim of my hair loss. And she's like, I have the best damn hair of my life now. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. I do. I have the best damn hair of my life. And you know what? I happen to take it off every night before I go to bed. But whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's my real hair was, except, you know what? There was one year in high school. I don't even know what happened. It was like right after I got my first period. So it must have been hormones. But my hair went like curly, like spiral curls for like, I don't know, a year and a half or something. It was gorgeous. And it sort of came out of nowhere. Like we went to Florida on vacation and the humidity made it curl and then it never went back. But of course I hated it because it was the late 90s and flat irons were in, and I regret that very much now. But other than that brief period of time, my hair has always been pretty shit.
So wait, what is your hair naturally like? The texture of it, is it like wavy or?
It's wavy, but it's fine, but it's frizzy, but it's limp, but it's right now it's a hot mess. I mean, because it's I don't even know what it is anymore. Back in like college and my 20s, it was fine with a little bit of wave in it, but I would flat iron that out. It never really curled again after high school. Not like that. I could do like crunchy gel curls. Ugh. Don't do that, kids. Please don't do that. But I always flat ironed it to make it look sleeker, but it would frizz. It was a mess. And I would spend all this time trying to make it look bigger and more volume. And then, the minute I'd walk outside, it would just, I'm like, how can hair be limp and frizzy at the same time? But I'm that good.
Magical.
Magical. Evil, dark magic. Next.
I'm like, all right, what else we got?
All right. So, I know you have like an Instagram and like a YouTube. Which one do you think, I don't know, is more valuable with what you're trying to do with the polystick
Coiffure.
agenda?
I sort of use my YouTube as like a, what's the word I'm looking for? See, I'm dumb now. I have mom brain and I forget words. I do. Like a word, I know the word. It's literally right here in my head and I can't figure out how to say it. I use it as like a helper to my Instagram.
Okay, so it's more like a secondary thing?
Yes, secondary. Thank you. We did it. Teamwork.
Yay!
For when I want to post longer videos about something, like I don't even know. What do I have on YouTube? Like I have one how I put it on, how I take out the comb and add clips, how I style it, that kind of thing. So my Instagram is really my main platform, I guess you would say. And then the YouTube is just to help it with longer videos and longer tutorials.
So how do you come up with content for your Instagram? Is it just, do people like slide in your DMs and be like, hey, I have this question, or like in the comments, or are you just kind of going like, hey, this is something that I wish I knew, but now I know?
A little bit of both. I try to convey things that I wish I had known, that, it's a journey, it's a process. You're not going to find acceptance overnight, that type of thing. So some emotional stuff like that, and then some practical stuff like, here's how to blend your hairline, and here's how to make your cowlick work for you. So just things like that. Oh God, my cowlick is my saving grace. It really is. That it's so good, and I always hated it, but now it hides the rim real good.
Yeah.
It is hard to come up with stuff sometimes. I feel like, especially now, there are a lot of hair accounts out there, which is great. It's great. I mean, it's wonderful to reach out and find people, and the fact that people are creating accounts to make friends and meet people and get tips and everything. But it does get hard to stay unique, I guess. That's why I do a lot of silly stories or stick my hair straight up like in the troll.
Yeah, I saw that. That was so great. Funny story. So like, I don't know, when was it? Like, it might have been last year. For whatever reason, I thought it'd be really funny. Before I got in the shower, like my hair is full of like fibers, and I had it like in like a little mini bun. I started taking pictures of my hair because it was doing that. So like, to see you do that and like
what was I
post it.
doing? Oh, I was putting dry shampoo in it because it was day 2, and my hair, my hair's so oily. It's gross how oily it is. Like back before I started wearing hair, I'd have to wash it every day. But so I was putting dry shampoo in it. And, I go upside down and to like shake the dry shampoo out, and then I stood up and it was standing right up like that. And the first thing I thought was, oh my God, I look like a troll doll. And so I had to find it and who wore it better and all that. And it's funny, somebody, I forget who, but somebody commented and said, something like, I'm surprised you know what those are. And I was like, I was born in the 80s. Of course I know what those are. I had hundreds of them. They're cute little jewel belly buttons.
So what are your thoughts on the recent Troll movie?
I haven't seen it.
Very serious question.
You haven't seen it? Okay. Well,
I can't.
I was really excited.
I don't have an attention span. I really don't.
That's fair.
And so I know it's a kid's movie, so theoretically I should at least be able to handle that. And also, first of all, we never go out on dates anymore because we have a baby. And so when we do watch a movie at home, I usually fall asleep on the couch after like 45 minutes. My husband's always
I
like,
understand.
you don't even get a say in what movie we're gonna watch because you're gonna fall asleep in a half an hour, and so I should be the one to pick because I'm the one who's actually gonna watch it. And I'm like, well, that's fair. What did we watch last night? Life, I think it's called. Ryan Reynolds is in it, and they're astronauts, and the cells from Mars eat them. Spoiler alert.
Not seen that.
I'd never even heard of it.
Yeah, I was like,
Jake Gyllenhaal's in it too. Yeah, it doesn't
really?
end
I don't
well
think I've
for
ever
anyone.
heard of this. Oh.
So yeah, he watched it. I watched some of it, and then I fell asleep. So, but
quick.
no, I've not seen the Troll movie.
Well, okay. So when I first heard that they were gonna make a Trolls movie, I was like, those ugly little things, cool. And then I saw like the artwork for it, and I was like, where did this come from? This is not.
They're different.
Trolls at
I
all.
do know they're different looking. They're
Yeah.
cuter. But I'm like, no, the thing about trolls is that they're ugly. Like that's what makes them so
Yeah.
cute.
I mean, overall, it was a cute movie. I don't remember why I saw it. I'm gonna assume it was kid related, but it could
was
have
probably
just
you.
been
It was
me
probably
being
just
bored.
Baldy related. She was like,
I
You
like
know
kid
what?
movies.
Don't judge me. I love cartoons. Not ashamed. Okay? All right?
I should start my own troll movie with my hair like that.
new plan.
New plan. That'll be my new YouTube channel. It's just
Oh man, that'd
Jesse
be really
wearing
cool.
troll hairdos.
My mom was saying that we should make a Cripple and Baldy cartoon.
Ah!
And I was like, that is way too much work.
Oh, that would be
But
so cute.
great
though.
idea. One day, maybe.
One day.
One day.
One day.
Speaking of root
know?
canal, one of the things that people always worry about is wearing hair at the dentist.
Mhm.
And I just want to say that maybe my dentist just doesn't give a shit, but I've never had anyone say anything or look at.
Oh my God. Can I tell you something about going to the doctor without wearing hair? I went to a new gynecologist. All right. When I got up, I was mortified that all of my hair fibers were all over like the sheet of the bed. And I was just like, oh my God. Because it was just like this black mass because my hair is black. So, of course, I have the black hair fibers. And I'm just like, is there any left on my head?
Oh,
Like, it was
no.
so much. I mean, I guess there was. Because, I mean, I had, like, a little mirror, and I was, like, looking. I was like, okay, all right. It looks pretty good. Like, I'm not too worried about it. But I was like, I didn't even notice it until, like, I was getting dressed. So, like, they had come in, and I know they had seen that. And I was just like, well, same thing happened at the dentist. And, like, it didn't occur to me, like, why the dental hygienist was, like being weird. And she was just kind of like, ugh. Like, you know, like she didn't know what it was.
Black lice.
She probably thought it had like fleas or something, or like bed bugs, or I don't know, like just ants crawling out of my head.
Don't worry, it's just hair fibers.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I wish I could have reassured her, but like I was like slow and I couldn't understand like what was going on. So, anyways, doctors are fun, guys.
They are. I don't know. Maybe it's because if he did say something, I don't know. My dentist, he's an old guy. He's not going to like notice that I'm wearing a topper. I mean, if he did say something, I'd be like, yes, I'm wearing a topper because I'm bald. And I don't know. The other thing I think people are nervous about is x-rays. But when they're x-raying your mouth, they're down. I'm gesturing again. You know, they're down by your jaw. They're not up on your head where clips would be. The other thing I think people freak out about is the airport.
Oh yeah, have you had any
I
trouble
wouldn't
with
call
that?
it trouble. I have flown a whole bunch of times while wearing a topper, and I have been flagged once in the big backscatter machine. At they have them
backscatter
at
machine.
big airports. It's not an ex.
Like where they like put you in the
Yeah,
thing
and you
like
have to
it goes
stand with
all
your hands
around.
over your head, and it like looks into your soul.
Yeah.
So I think it was at Kennedy Airport in New York. And so what happened was, I get in the backscatter machine, and then you come out of it and you stand, and all that happens on the screen is like a little rectangle pops up on like an outline of a person that shows where they need to check further. So for me, the rectangle showed up on my head. And so the female TSA agent, all she said to me was, I need to pat your head. I said, okay, because I figured the clip set it off. And she literally patted the crown of my head twice and said, have a nice flight. I didn't have time to be like, it's hair extensions. It's nothing. And honestly, I don't even think she would have cared either way. They're very busy. They see a lot of things.
Yeah.
She just wanted to make sure I didn't have a bomb under my hair.
That's so good to know, because I was legit like worrying about that, because I was like, why was I thinking about flying? Oh, I was talking to someone that had like flown internationally, and I was just like, man, if I ever like get my life together and plan a trip to Europe, like how am I gonna like go across seas with my topper and like a bunch of hair fibers? Like, what is that gonna be like?
I can't speak for international security because I haven't been international since I started wearing hair. But as far as U.S., like I hear people who are worried that they're going to be made to take their hair off in front of everybody, and I'm like,
that
first of all,
happened to someone.
in front of everybody.
Yes.
So you always have the right to ask to go to a private area. Like maybe
Really?
they didn't
I
know
didn't know
that,
that.
or I theoretically, yes, they could ask you to take your hair off if they can't clear the flag. In my case, she could. She patted my head. She didn't feel anything under there, and so she let me go. If I had something that she couldn't clear, yeah, she could ask me to take it off. But you can always ask to go to a private area. It's like
that
if
is also good
they
to know.
find something like in your crotch or something, they're not going to make you pull your pants down in front of everybody. I hope not, anyway.
No, what happened is we were in Vegas for a bachelorette party, and one of the girls was wearing a wig because she just likes to wear wigs. She's like really big into cosplaying, and they were like, I guess the wig or something like triggered something when she went through the little X-ray thing, and like she's just like the guy. There was a guy that was talking to her. I think it was a guy. This was a while ago, so I don't remember. Don't quote me. But she ended up just like pulling it off, and I was just like, oh my gosh. She's so brave. I would never.
Or maybe she didn't care.
Yeah, she probably didn't care because she has like beautiful hair, So it was just like in a bun, like with a wig cap on.
Yeah.
But still.
Do you guys think like from what I've seen, it looks like toppers look more natural and wigs tend to not. But I guess like if you get like a really expensive wig, it would look natural. Like what do you guys think toppers versus wig?
I think it depends on your hair loss. It depends on your face shape. It depends on a lot of things. I prefer toppers for a few reasons. One, I have a widow's peak, which
Same.
Yeah.
some people don't know what that is. It's where your hairline points down a little bit in the center. So to wear like a lace front wig looks weird on me because I don't naturally have a straight across hairline. And so, I mean, maybe somebody who wouldn't know me wouldn't notice the difference, but I think it looks funny. And plus, you can see the widow's peak through the lace, and it looks
so
bizarre.
Weird. Do they not make wigs that have a widow's peak?
You can get the lace plucked to thin out a little bit on either side of the widow's peak. Maybe they do make some that are like that. I don't know. But that's one thing. The second thing is that toppers are easy for me to wear because I do have that cowlick in the front, and that hides the rim nicely, and it makes it easy for me to blend. I know people freak out because I'm really good at blending. But I owe it all to my cowlick. And then the other reason I like toppers better is because for me, they're just more comfortable. I'm used to them. Wigs kind of hurt your head a little bit. Well, toppers hurt your head a little bit at first too, but wigs.
But it's like, wigs are like, it's like they're too hot to
Yeah,
wear.
they are hot. I mean, wearing hair, especially human hair in the summer, is hot. It is hot as balls. And in New England, it's very humid in the summer, and it sucks. I sweat a lot. I don't like winter, but wearing hair in the winter is much better. It's much more comfortable. I find synthetic to be a little bit lighter. Some people think synthetic is hotter than human. I don't know. It's all personal preference. It really is. And I wish that there was a way for people to try more things because it really is trial and error until you figure out what's going to work for you.
Where do you find synthetic toppers?
I buy my. You can find them at a lot of places. There are a lot of good
Really?
online vendors. Yeah. Am I allowed to say websites?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I want to know because
I'm not
I
necessarily
had trouble
endorsing.
finding a synthetic
I've
topper.
bought them off wigs.com before, sisterwigs.com. There's a woman who lives pretty local to me, actually, who has both a brick and mortar wig store and an online wig store. It's called galleryofwigs.com. She has excellent prices, and I like to support small businesses, so I buy online from her. You know, it's one of those you just sort of shop around different online retailers, see who's having a sale, see who has coupon codes, free shipping, that kind of thing. So I've bought from all different places. Human hair, human hair, I've gone with, there's 2 different vendors that I've purchased my human hair toppers from. And I like both of them a lot. Everyone asks me which one is thinner, which one is flatter, which one is blah, blah, blah. They're identical in terms of quality, very high quality. But human hair, you know, synthetic is plastic. It is what it is. Any synthetic hair piece you buy is going to be kind of the same. Human hair is different as far as quality, based on where it's sourced from, how it's processed. So I think that doing a lot more research when it comes to human hair is important because, again, you get what you pay for. And if you spend, you know, $50 on a human hair topper, it's no.
I had first heard about toppers actually from this girl. She was like, I don't know, she was like a sugar baby, but she always had a bunch of money for shit. And I remember her.
I want to be a sugar baby.
I know, seriously.
Right?
Someone needs to buy me some hair.
But she was really into like hair pieces and stuff, and her hair, she didn't have any balding or anything like that. She just loved that, which I do too. I love extensions. They make your hair so voluminous, you know, it's awesome. But she had told me like that she had gotten this topper because she was wearing her hair, and I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what's topper? And she's like, it just goes on the top of your head. And I was like, why? And she's like, because it makes it more voluminous. And she took it off, and I was like shocked because I thought it was her hair, but it looked like amazing. And she had one of those you know, those, what are they called? They're like crown extensions where it's like for the back of your head basically. And then it was amazing.
Oh, like a halo?
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a halo extension. She paid like $700 just for the halo extension, and then the topper was like $400. And I was like, what? And she just bought it on a whim. Like she was at some hair thing, and she's like, oh, okay, I'll spend $1,000 on this.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. I was like, wow, okay.
Fuck my career. I want to be a sugar baby.
Yeah. New goal.
Let's find it.
Are you okay with that? Can I be a sugar baby? He said as long as he gets a cut.
No. Your dog wants a cut too.
I know. I'm like,
So, what are like some long-term goals of polycystic coiffure?
Get
Coiffure.
30 million viewers and take over the world. No. My husband likes to tease me. He's like, oh, are you creating content again? And I'm like, shut up. I'm going to make millions of dollars off of this, and then I'm going to be your sugar mama. So you hush. Buy me a YouTube background. My goals. I mean, I really have just enjoyed talking to different people, giving tips, getting tips. I mean, I've learned a lot from other people on Instagram. I like to try to support, you know, there are a lot of businesses that are popping up for selling hair. Obviously, I'm not going to that's not true. I sent a lot of money to Australia. It worked out. It worked out. As soon as I did that, I was like, but, you know, I like to support people starting their own businesses and just really try to offer tips, offer support, offer humor. You know, the troll hair. Like I said, you got to laugh at yourself. Hair loss sucks. It's really, really, really shitty. And I'm not saying that every moment you can find joy in it, because you certainly can't. But I do think that finding the positives that can go along with it can go a long way toward helping you find peace with it and accept it. just because I've accepted it doesn't mean I'm okay with it necessarily. I mean, it blows. There are definitely still times where I'm like, fuck, I really wish I didn't have hair loss. I want to dive into pools, and I don't know what else I want to do, but
Roller coasters?
I don't like roller coasters.
Oh,
Not
man.
really. But I have ridden a roller coaster with a topper.
Really?
If that puppy's clipped in, it's not going anywhere. I'd be more worried about my shoes falling off, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but not to me.
That's good. I follow this account for this chick. She goes by Baldy Boo, and she was like so excited, and I am definitely going to try and, I don't know, use her tips. But she like got like this headband thing with like hair on it, and then she wore like a tank top that had a hood on it, so she didn't have to worry about her hair.
Yep.
I was like, that is genius.
You really do. You figure out tricks. You figure out little ways to make it work for you in your lifestyle. I think a lot of feeling comfortable with wearing hair and making it fit your life just comes with time and practice. I certainly didn't, like, the first time I wore a topper. Now that I look back at a picture of it, I'm like, oh, girl, like, you're blend. Ugh. But, it just comes with practice. And again, I learned a lot. I learned how to style hair just by watching YouTube videos. I just typed in how to make beachy waves. And I do think that the whole social media thing is really good for that. We learn from each other, and I like that.
So, do you just wear your toppers like straight out of the box, or
No? They look weird on me straight out of the box because all the human hair toppers I've bought, they come with like a really straight middle part, and I'm not a middle part person. I'm just not. And so I actually have a whole story highlight, self-call. I have a whole story highlight on my Instagram about how I customize a human hair piece. And that involves washing it, blowing it dry, straight, getting it cut.
So do you cut it, or do you go and get it cut?
No, I go and get it cut. I actually go to the same stylist I used to go to when I had hair. I called her up and I said, hi, remember me? I didn't ghost you, but my hair fell out, but now I'm wearing hair and I need it cut. Will you cut it for me? And she was like, girl, get in here. She was like,
That's awesome.
I miss you. So I know a lot of people have trouble finding a stylist who will cut their topper for them.
Really? Do people
Yeah.
not want to do it?
They don't want to do it because obviously it doesn't grow back.
Yeah.
So, there is, but my stylist is like, she's like, I just go slow. We check in every couple of cuts. And she's like, I don't know if you know what you're doing. It's just cutting hair.
Yeah. If you're good at it and confident in yourself, there should
Exactly.
be no problem.
So I go see her, I wear it into the salon. I have it dried straight and parted the way I like it. And then she just sort of shapes it up for me. A little bit of layers, a little angling, that kind of thing.
So she cuts it while it's still on your head?
Yep, she cuts it on my head and she cuts it dry. It's really not that big of a deal.
Do you get your actual bio hair cut at the same time?
No, I hack the dead ends off once a year or so, my own. There's really not, and now actually, I mean, the ends, there's nothing there. I might just cut them all off and have like short, I don't know what I'm going to do. But no, I don't pay money to get my bio hair cut anymore. It all gets covered. And if I'm not wearing a topper and I'm at home, it's just sort of pinned up with one bobby pin, or in a scarf or something like that. So,
Interesting.
Jessie, if you could offer one piece of advice to someone who is experiencing female hair loss for the first time, what would it be?
it would be to reach out and find the tribe. Because one of the things that I remember from when I first started dealing with hair loss is how alone I felt. And it's hard to go through something when you feel like you're going through it by yourself, and that you don't have anybody else who can understand. So whether it's Instagram or YouTube or however, you can find some support from people who know what you're going through, find it, because that's going to be how we all get through it. And that applies to a lot of things, not just hair loss, but I think that social support is really important for getting through a sucky thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's so true. Thank you so much for joining us on Cripple and Baldy.
Thank you for having
bringing
me.
some Baldy like representation.
Where can they find you? Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at Polycystic Coiffure, and that, oh God, that's a long name. It's POLYCYSTIC_COIFFURE. I think I spelled that right. I'm a terrible
include
speller.
links.
Yeah, include links. But that's where you can find me. I do have a YouTube, but again, it's a supplement. That's the word I was looking for.
I was never going to think of that.
Supplement to my Instagram. And that is it.
That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel.
Intro music is from Lizzo. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or on our website, crippleandbaldy.com. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast or would like to send us an anonymous question, you can find us on our website at crippleandbaldy.com.
That's exactly how